Today, we're roasting Sons of Anarchy and analyzing it from a 1% outlaw motorcycle club perspective. From Jack's spotless white kicks to Tig's alternative lifestyle. Are these things you really see in a club? Forget the obvious mistakes everybody talks about. I'm exposing the goofy shit and the things nobody catches that would never, and I mean ever, happen in a real 1% club. Let's get into it. Big shout to the Ghosts and the Ghost sets. I'm Sos the Ghost. This is Demons Row. We're going to break this down in a different way and talk about things that happen in 1% clubs and weigh it up with Sons of Anarchy. Does this stuff really exist? There's a part in Sons of Anarchy that 1000% will never be accepted in any real 1% club. And it's when Tig, a fully patched member of a 1% club, has a relationship with a dude in a dress. I am telling you, that is Hollywood high-level producer telling Kurt Sutter, I'll give you the millions it takes to put this project out, but I need you to sprinkle this in, because when my corporate brothers get caught dressing like a lady or get caught with a man who dresses like a lady, they will not be publicly ruined. If you ever admitted to this, let alone actually flirt with a dude in a dress with club members around, your vest will come off and you will be swimming in your own blood. I don't make up these rules. This is the way it is. They will beat the brakes off you. This is the way the culture works. I never in my life have ever heard of any diamond club accepting this. They also did it. If you saw the 1%er movie, it's like an Australian club. The president had his way with a prospect. I never in my life heard of that. Now, do you get hazed as a prospect? Yes. There's clubs that punch prospects in their face, and they gotta accept that. Me, I could never accept that, personally. That's just a personal preference. Getting punched in the face is not me. As a man, you should never submit yourself to something like that. But to each his own. They wanna be down. More power to you, homeboy. Now, let's talk about Jack's sneakers. You ever notice Jack's from Sons of Anarchy out there wearing those bright white sneakers? Now, I remember first seeing it, I said, hold up. This is supposed to be the most dangerous outlaw biker in California, and his feet is dressed like he's headed to an Easter family barbecue. This man has rival clubs trying to kill him, the ATF trying to lock him up, building RICO cases, but one mud puddle is gonna ruin his whole day. In my hood in the Bronx, we call those uptowns. If someone stepped on your kicks, that street corner would turn into a UFC octagon, because one footprint and those sneakers are done. Let me know in the comments if you ever had to lick your finger, pause, to clean a spot on your sneakers. Think about that and then think about riding. Ain't nobody in this world could tell me they didn't have a pack of baby wipes on deck for Charlie Hunnam's riding scenes, or a fresh pair of sneakers after every scene. In Cali, real 1% clubs do wear sneakers, some don't. On the East Coast, some do, some don't, same way, but they clown not being suited and booted when you have your colors on. A lot of real OG bikers got boots that look like they're victims of domestic violence. Jacks got shoes like they take a lot of rides to Foot Locker. If you really wore uptowns like that to ride, every time you put your foot down at a red light, you're not checking traffic, you're checking to see if those Nikes are scuffed. Funny shit about it, if you really analyze it, this man gets into 3 fights, crashed the motorcycle, ran through the dirt, blood and gravel, and somehow those shoes are still looking like they're fresh out the shop. And somehow, those shoes still look like they're fresh out the Nike box. I don't know who the toughest person on Sons of Anarchy is, but I know it ain't Jack's. But the dude who cleans Jack's sneakers, that dude gotta be tough. Real quick, if you enjoy MC Culture content, smash that like and that subscribe button and get your Ghostavelli motorcycle riding mask, Paisley gloves, Demons Row snapbacks in all colors, track races, we got it all, and you can get it on www.demonsrow.com. Let's get back into it. Let's talk about Otto and that tongue scene, pause. So of course, Kurt Sutter plays Otto. That scene where he slams his tongue on the table and cuts it off. That shit was nasty, bro. I remember watching that thinking like, do they really think that this is like some 1% shit? Adding that in was doing too much. They want you to believe someone would rather cut their own tongue off than cooperate. If we look at what goes on in real life, that ain't what's happening. I'm not saying people don't keep their mouth shut. I'm saying this right here is Hollywood trying to out Hollywood itself. That wasn't outlaw MC culture. That was straight up horror movie material. I watched this shit, I turned my head, I'm like, this shit nasty. I signed up to watch a biker show, not an episode of Saw. Matter of fact, I understand stuff is added for entertainment. The only thing that scene proved was Kurt Sutter has a hell of an imagination. That wasn't the most hardcore scene in the series. It was the nastiest. Now, let's talk about Piney. Y'all remember Piney from Sons of Anarchy? If you ever watched the show, Piney was one of the original founders of the club. Here's the nutty shit. This man rode his Harley Davidson everywhere with an oxygen tank strapped to it. First time I saw that, I said, is this an outlaw biker on a hospital discharge? Every time the club pulled into a gas station, everybody else was filling up their tanks. Piney was over by the air pump. You know that machine that you use to put air in your tires? Piney used that damn thing to breathe. Everybody waiting on premium gas, Piney's waiting on premium oxygen. If that pump had an out of order sign on it, he was not making that ride and he wasn't making it out of there. That was too goofy, and I ain't never seen no shit like that. The man looked like he was one breath away from seeing the Lord, but still had his shotgun, talking about let's handle this. The Grim Reaper was on the back of his vest and behind him on the bike following him. And nobody in the club ever questioned it. They have these serious meetings talking about gun deals, rival clubs, Ricos, while Piney's sitting in the corner sounding like Darth Vader's granddaddy. Every dramatic pause in those conversations get interrupted by that oxygen machine. Let's be real. You would never see some shit like that in real life. Let me know in the comments if you think that was a stretch or if you've seen somebody riding with an oxygen tank. Now let's talk about Gemma from Sons of Anarchy and women who think they're the mother of Jax Teller in real life. Yeah, they're out here. Let me know in the comments if you know any like this. I know ones that their old man is a member of an outlaw club and they sat down and watched Sons of Anarchy together. First, Gemma. Everybody loves Peg Bundy. She was hot when she was Peg. Let me know if you was feeling her on the Peg Bundy level. But on this show, she was one of those annoying women that really, from the deep down of their soul, need to hear a man say, please, shut the fuck up. Like some women like that or need it. On the show, they keep telling us Clay is the president. Then Jax became the president. But then they act like Gemma was running the club from episode 1. This is fantasy and delusion. I'll tell you one thing that is a super fact. And not one 1% club, mine included, or any 1% club I've ever been around, has an old lady made decisions and called shots the way Gemma did in Sons of Anarchy. It just don't happen. Now, are there serial pillow talkers whose old lady knows club members' personal business? Yes. Some dudes tell their girl everything. I'll tell you how to spot these dudes too. You're going to a club party. It's all your club brothers. Nobody's there with their wives. And this one cuck got his wife around a bunch of dudes. You know for a fact he's telling her all his homeboys' deepest, darkest secrets. And then what do? They turn around and pull Gemmas. Check prospects like she's their sponsor. An old lady is not in a position to order around prospects. That is out of pocket. On Sons, Clay and Jax wanted to make a move. Better go see what Mama Gemma thinks first. Those patches should have had little Velcro strips on them so Gemma could take them away whenever she decided. I don't even know why anybody even would vote. They would have church meetings, argue for 20 minutes, everybody's giving their opinion. They could have saved a lot of time and just asked Gemma, what's today's agenda? Don't get me wrong, she made the show. She was one of the best characters in the whole series. I'm just saying, from a real biker perspective, if Gemma walked into a real 1% clubhouse acting like that, somebody would have looked at her and said, yo, we love you, now go outside, we're about to have a meeting. And in real life, pay attention when you see a president's wife having opinions on club business. Gemma is her OG, and her husband's DNA says Terry Claw. I know an old lady who is a behemoth, 200-pound plus 5-footer, who lost her vest 3, 4, how many times I forgot. Also, yes, an old lady can get her property of colors taken. Honestly, I think she's the only one I knew who ever got their shit took. You know what? One other one I could think of. She constantly made her soft old man look stupid. You would ask yourself, how would something like this happen? Consistently disrespecting club brothers. Talking to prospects like she's a seasoned veteran and they're like shit under her shoes. Delusional. If you got a woman that's savage like that, leave her ass home. She's gonna make you look dumb. Now let's talk about Jax keeping a diary. One thing in Sons of Anarchy that I always thought was bugged out was Jax being an active model / serial killer who dumps bodies and then goes home and writes about it in his diary. Think about that. In a diary. I'm telling you, a journal. I'm telling you right now, in all my years in and around 1% motorcycle clubs, there's not one single 1%er I ever met that wrote in a diary. From my knowledge, there's some soft ass dudes out here, but I never heard of it. This is supposed to be the president of the most dangerous outlaw motorcycle club in California, spending every episode getting in shootouts, dodging the ATF rival clubs and the Irish mob. And then before the credits roll, this man sits down and reflects on the day with a candle lit and starts writing Dear Diary. I almost fell off my couch. Let me know in the comments if your president keeps a journal, which really just means a man diary. No one on the show ever questioned it. Most clubs, if they found out you kept a diary, they would tell you, bro, are you okay? Is this something you want to tell us? Are you one of those village people? Nobody ever said, Jax, why are you writing in a diary? Everybody just acted like that was completely normal. Just like they did with Tig talking to a dude in a dress. I'm telling you right now, the ATF had that whole investigation backwards. They were out spending millions on undercover agents and informants, surveillance. All they had to do was read Jack's memoirs. Forget informants. The feds would have that diary testify itself. I'm just saying, from my perspective, living a life, there's not one 1% I've ever met that finishes the day by saying, hold on, brothers, before I go to bed, let me tell my diary how I feel. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Let me know in the comments. Do any of y'all actually keep a diary? If you do, just comment, I do, so I know who to block. I'm just playing. I'm just messing with y'all. Check out the new Demons Row signature series we have. I have the white one on. We have the black ones. They are selling like hotcakes. I thank you for that. I appreciate y'all. Don't forget to hit that subscribe. We are close to that 1 million. We got another video where we talk about the real Hells Angels in Sons of Anarchy. It'll be linked above. And thank you for tuning in to Demons Row TV, the holy grail of MC culture. Like, subscribe, and comment. And oh yeah, we ghosting, baby.